Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I hope you're all doing well. It's your boy, the leftover monkey, back again. Got another film that I've dug up from the past. A guilty pleasure, some might say. 1995's The Hunted. May or may not have heard of this film. Well, it's got samurais, ninjas, and Christopher Lambert in the middle. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? Let's dig into this, shall we? You've got an American businessman, Paul Racine, played by Christopher Lambert. He's in Japan for a business trip, a conference, or whatever. After that's all done, it's the evening time. He wants to have a bit of fun. Encounters a lucky lady, maybe a lady of the night, they might say. And all is going well. He has a great night, and now he plans to gap it. But in a moment of chance, he ends up witnessing the assassination of that very lady he was with by a group of ninjas. Yeah, pretty scary, pretty scary. So Paul is now in the crossfire. Now he's got to find a way out of Japan and evade these ruthless ninjas. Along the way, he's taken in by a group of samurai. You could say a tribe that descended from samurais, but one of them is definitely a samurai. They're just keeping tradition, that is. And there is a rivalry between the ninja clan and the samurai clan. And in the end, it's a battle to see who comes out on top. Yeah, wild, wild. I thought I'd actually touch on something first, something that might sound familiar to you all, a bit of a character arc, which seems to get repeated in films, especially in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, even up to today. So Paul, as I mentioned, he gets taken in by the samurai. He's taken to their village, which he's not allowed to leave. And at the village, there's an old blacksmith that sort of becomes his mentor. He's meant to watch over Paul while he's in the village, and you know this blacksmith he begins to train Paul in the ways of the sword. So you're kind of thinking in your mind, oh, hang on now, this sounds like the old tale of the Great White Hope that comes in, learns the trade of the locals, and becomes the best, and obviously saves the world. Well, yes and no. I'll circle back to that in a moment, but I'll start with some of the really like positives, like the top positives of the film. There are two superb action sequences, like top notch. One that takes place on a moving bullet train, which like I would say even today, holds up. It tracks through, the carriages, and there are some awesome fight scenes that happen as they travel, as they kind of walk through the train carriages. It's really cool. It's really cool. The other like high octane scene is towards the end, is the final act, and there's a particular scene between the leader of the samurai and the leader of the ninja clan, and they kind of have a showdown, which is brutal. It's raw. It's right in your face as well. You genuinely feel it. So real props to that particular moment in the film, that the cinematographer and the director on that. Circling back to Paul, of course, I mentioned earlier. He's taken in by the village and he's picking up the art of the sword. And look, he's in the village for maybe a month or two. I think either way, it's not a long time. So what I was pleasantly surprised with is Paul. His skill level with the sword is that of someone that is a beginner, that's probably only trained for a month or two. That's right. He's not the best. No, nowhere near that. In fact, when he does get into fights, he relies more on his brute strength and external factors to win over the sword. And I was like, wow, man. I mean, that's pretty grounded, and I was like surprised because in other films, I mean, it would have gone full the other way. So credit due where credit's due. But yeah, let's jump into some of the bad, because this film does not have a great reputation. And while, hang on, what I'll do, I'll talk about a few other small positives before I actually jump into the bad stuff. The way they present Japan, the atmosphere, the grittiness, the cinematography, there's actually a bit of care taken with showcasing elements of Japan, which is nice. Another good touch is the spoken language. Most of it is in Japanese. Even at times when characters are communicating with and around Paul, it's in Japanese. So, that's a nice little touch. That's good. But let's get into some of the bad. And look, the dialogue, it's absolute trash. I mean, for the most, because here's the thing, it's annoying because there are some clever bits of dialogue scattered throughout the film. There's one part which I thought was actually quite fun. It's a moment where Paul is told he's got to be taken in by the samurai, got to go somewhere safe in Japan so that they can protect him from the ninjas. And Paul is like, no, I'm going back to New York. Stuff this, I'm out of here. And they tell him, no, no, the ninjas, they'll follow you to New York. They'll go to America and try and find you. And Paul, his response is like, yeah, all good. They can find out what happens when they mess around in my backyard in my neighborhood. And I thought that was pretty witty because it's real. And it's frustrating that those like moments of dialogue, it's few and far between. So damn. Now the acting as well. I look, it's so wooden at times. Christopher Lambert, he does have a certain way that he acts. I guess he'll fit into that Dolph Lundgren, Michael Dudikoff, if you know him, Chuck Norris, into that boat. So look, I don't blame him, but you know what you're going to get from him every time you see a film with him in it, and he doesn't change in this at all. I was like, yeah, you get what you get. Now there are some, other acting moments which I won't really jump into that, but the plot, like I mentioned, the crazy plot to begin with, but the rivalry between the samurai clan and the ninja clan, they do not flesh this out at all, and it does the film such a disservice because all you get is like they don't like each other. That's pretty much all you get from their rivalry, and I'm like, yo, if they had fleshed this out, it would have been a much better film. Like honestly, it would you would have been way more engaged in the film. Now, for me, I think the positives outweigh the negatives for the most. My final verdict, it's a 6 out of 10. I know. I was gonna go five, but I think it deserves a six because it's a solid action thriller. It delivers for the most, and the two action set pieces, I would say even today, they hold up. It's a film that I think is worth a go. And again, it doesn't fall into the trope of the everyman foreigner, the great white hope, that goes to a different country, just becomes the best ever, the one, Neo, saves the world. None of that stuff. It doesn't fall into that trope. It remains grounded for the most. You switch it on if you got some free time. Well, that's me for today, guys. Leftover monkey out.